Want to do something different, something that might reach any viewer, I guess, maybe some point. I mean, it's 1:30 in the morning, so it's not like it's going to reach anybody right now. But something I just want to address and something that I really want to talk about is, well, I talk about wrestling on the show, so something I want to mention right now is The Miz. Um, After Elimination Chamber and kind of just watching promos, I guess, of The Miz lately, I've never been the biggest fan of this guy, and anyone who knows this channel, anyone who knows me, knows that I've never been a big fan of The Miz. But you know, it's not gonna sound like something that would normally come out of my mouth, but The Miz deserves the Universal Championship. Let's just talk about that. So it's amazing to me that I would feel this way, but let's kind of be real here. The Miz deserves a lot, and I guess where this is coming from is just simply it's the sign of great storytelling combined with the sign of a great character and a great charismatic actor. Mike Mizanin, Mike Mizanin, um, the way he's built himself up and the way he's been able to tell his story is truly phenomenal, and I give him a lot of credit for that. And he doesn't need to hear from me. He doesn't need to hear from anybody. But yes, The Miz, despite every annoyance that I've ever experienced at his hand, he deserves to be the WWE Universal Champion right now. And the reason he does is simply put, he has built himself up better than anybody else in the company. Obviously far better than Roman Reigns, who's gonna win the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. That's just the fact of life, unfortunately. Um, he has promoted himself better than any wrestler in the WWE today. And I don't just mean that as a heel saying he's the best ever. I don't just mean that in the same typical fashion as somebody like Ric Flair or something like that, where it's just the heel so talking about how great he is. The fact of the matter is, the heel talking about how great he is much like Ric Flair, um, completely true in this case. The Miz may not be somebody who anybody puts on their top five greatest wrestlers of all time, and he probably never will be. But I think he deserves to be, and I think he deserves to at least make the top 10 because the way he's built himself up is truly phenomenal because not everybody can do that. It's kind of the fact of life and the certainly the true fact for WWE that anybody who is ripped and anybody who is extremely decked out will make it in the company, or that's the promise anyway. They will get title shots and they will get opportunities and they will become megastars according to Vince McMahon and according to the brass of WWE. I mean, that was kind of part of CM Punk's whole argument against that whole thing, grabbing the brass ring, grabbing the fictional brass ring. And so you look at that today, it's still going on, sadly and unfortunately. I mean, you look at a guy like Jason Jordan, who is extremely muscly, obviously, and has a lot of talent to him, but he's being pushed way too soon, and he's given a spotlight I don't think he's ready for, and it's because of his physique. And I mean, of course, he won't look at it as I'm not ready for this. I mean, nobody in their life should ever look at something like I'm not ready for this, but I think somebody needs to tell them they're not ready for this because Jason Jordan is very charismatic and very talented in his own right, but I don't think he's ready to take on what they want him to take on. And I'm a little happy in the sense that I think they create a storyline injury for him that would take him out of WrestleMania, and I think that's good because that gives him some time to build himself up, and it'll make people think about him, and it'll make people want him to be champion. So the Miz is one of those people. He has had years of this. He recently in a video says he's been with the company 12 years. I mean, that's a long time. I mean, I can't imagine. Well, I'm at a job right now. I'm getting ready to leave that I've been at for 11 years on and off. So that is a very long time to put yourself into and really dedicate yourself to. And so the Miz has dedicated himself to the WWE. He has dedicated himself to the world of wrestling. And that doesn't just simply mean the world of wrestling in the sense of wrestling. He has dedicated himself to the art of entertainment. And I give the Miz all the credit in the world for that. He has dedicated himself to the art of entertainment, and he has honed his craft. He is the genuine love to hate him heel. And lately, he has become a heel that you love to love, actually. and you almost hate to love because you always hated the Miz. And personally, I always hated the Miz. I hate Miz TV. I still hate Miz TV because it's so predictable. It's just him interviewing someone, then that someone beats him up. I mean, it's just predictable as hell. But I appreciate the Miz way more than I ever did, let's say 2 years ago, because of the fact that I can respect the way he's honed it and the way he's become that heel. And the reason I respect that, I think, is partially my love for Roddy Piper. The way Roddy Piper kind of perfected himself as that heel that you love to hate and that you hate to love. And so The Miz is, in many ways, the modern day Roddy Piper. It is, in many ways, the modern day Ric Flair because of that simple fact that he has almost perfected it. And so I give him a lot of credit in that respect. Mike Mizanin does not need to be some big megastar, I think, to make his millions, but he has such a passion for this business, and he has such a passion for where he came from and why he wants to be respected because of that. And I give him all the credit in the world. I mean, and like I said, it's all about knowing somebody's story. I think knowing a wrestler's story and knowing anybody's story really will make you appreciate them even more. Mike Mizanin comes from, a background of reality TV, which I personally hate reality TV, but my roommate Rachel used to watch him on the Real World, I believe it was. And so, hearing her words say that, it's cool that he was able to fulfill his desire, so to speak, because he used to say that on the reality show, like, I'm going to become a famous wrestler one day, and nobody took him seriously. He's like, that was his dream. He's like, I'm going to become a famous wrestler one day. And so that was his goal, and that's what he wanted to do. And the fact that he is doing it now is awesome. Anyone should be able to live their dreams. And that's what's really cool about The Miz. And like I said, I mean, and coming from me, I mean, so this is basically me saying I was wrong about The Miz. I'm sorry about that. Like, this is me saying that I never liked The Miz. And, that maybe that was just simply my kind of ignorance of the wrestling world. Like, what's the difference between somebody who's working hard and someone who's just lazy and kind of getting by on opportunities that they don't really deserve? And that's part of the reason why I don't really like Roman Reigns that much. Not that he really doesn't deserve it, but I think he hasn't earned it. That's just my opinion. And, of course, I'm just a scrawny white kid, so it's like, what do I know? But The Miz, I feel like, is somebody who has truly earned it because I see the way he's busted, and I know he's busted. I know Roman Reigns is busted too, don't get me wrong, but Mike The Miz Mizanin has perfected that more than Roman Reigns has perfected that ability to not only wrestle, but that ability to captivate, and that ability to entertain, and that ability to make you hate him and love him at the same time. And his mic skills are something truly phenomenal. I think a lot of us saw that in his kind of quote unquote pipe bomb against Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack of like a couple of years ago. So it is what it is. I mean, you can still hate The Miz, you can still love The Miz, even if you didn't, even if you still loved him before. Regardless, though, I think The Miz has, in my opinion, he's earned a place in my heart. He's earned a place, respect in my mind because of the way he's worked and the way I feel he does deserve that. The way he comes week after week and entertains people, and the way he's still here after 12 years, and the way he's been able to roll with the punches and adapt to his character and somehow still make it great. I mean, Chris Jericho. I look at Chris Jericho as one of the greats because of the fact that he's been able to adapt and he's been able to entertain people even years after he started, years and years of wrestling, and that can't be easy. That really can't be easy to kind of perfect your charisma, so to speak, to be able to come out in front of millions of people and still entertain the shit out of them after years. Like, a lot of people are one-hit wonders. A lot of people are like one pop and you're done. And, that's a shame, don't get me wrong. But, a testament to those greats is the reason Chris Jericho is one of the best in the world, and the reason I feel The Miz deserves a spot as one of the best in the world is because of their ability to come into that ring and to continue to captivate the audiences even though we feel we know what they're about. They're able to change up a little bit, just enough to the fact that they're interesting. Just as interesting today as they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. Chris Jericho has been in the business a long time. And his latest run before he went off the air again for a little while, his run with Kevin Owens, being Kevin Owens' best friend, and having all those quotes like "you stupid idiot" and "it" and "you just made the list." I mean, that's a testament to the guy's ability to be able to truly captivate an audience. I mean, who else do you know can win over an audience with words like "it" and "the list" and "you stupid idiot"? I mean, not many people. I mean, good God. Like there's really not too many people who can say those words and have them on a T-shirt. Like my buddy Jeff, I bought my buddy Jeff at Christmas a T-shirt that said "You just made the list," a Chris Jericho shirt. I mean, not too many people can say those words and make them into a T-shirt. I mean, they can, but a successful T-shirt and a successful meme and a successful everything. So again, I think that's just kind of a testament to the man's ability to be able to emote. And so the Miz is similar to that. The Miz is kind of like the Chris Jericho of his time in the sense that he's able to emote and to captivate and to come up with catchphrases seemingly off the cuff. And the Miz, the more I think about it, actually, the Miz really doesn't have much of a catchphrase per se. His entire persona is simply revolved around the "I don't get no respect." I don't get any respect. Like Rodney Dangerfield, I don't get any respect motif. And so, in that sense, do you want to put the Universal Championship on him? Probably not. In that sense, if you want to keep him the underdog, the forever underdog, complaining that he should be better. But yeah, I do think they should put the Universal Championship on him because of that fact, because of the fact that he has for so long been underappreciated and disrespected, and really kind of overlooked because of the fact, maybe one, because of the fact that he was on a reality show, and two, because he's not as big or muscly as some of the other guys. And so again, I mentioned the Chris Jericho fact, but also in a way a modern day CM Punk in a way, in that sense, the guy who wasn't very muscly and who didn't grab that Vince McMahon brass ring. And so I feel like that is the Miz in a lot of senses, that he could be like a modern day CM Punk in the sense that he never truly will be appreciated for what he is. Then again, CM Punk, now everyone chants his name whenever they go to Chicago. CM Punk is obviously very missed. And so I think that is what I'm hoping for the Miz, that he will be like CM Punk in the sense that he will be missed if he does go, and that I feel like he does deserve the top title. He does deserve to be Universal Champion or World Champion, and and get that respect. Let's see, the best since 2018. The way Braun dominated last night of my life, for real. Yeah, shoot, man, it kind of fits with the motif. Braun Strowman dominating, and yet Roman Reigns still wins. That's kind of what I'm talking about, I think. The injustice, I think, of WWE in a way. I feel like that's why I'm talking about The Miz. That's why the hashtag is The Miz. I'm just kind of talking about, I used to hate The Miz, but I'm kind of talking about the fact that I feel like he should be Universal Champion because of the way they built him up and the way he's built himself up over the years, the way he's been able to perfect that character. Like I said, he's kind of like a modern day Chris Jericho or modern day CM Punk in the sense that he has been able to fine tune that art of being that heel that you both love to hate and hate to love. And so, I guess part of this video and part of the stream is just really just kind of talking about why I think The Miz should be Universal Champion and it shouldn't be Roman Reigns. But that's just me. I think if they're going to do anything with The Miz in terms of that, if they're ever going to go down that route, which they probably never will, but I really hope they will, because they have to know that The Miz is one of their best workers. He made the Intercontinental Championship relevant again after so many years. I'll be honest, when I first started getting into wrestling a few years ago, I didn't really care about the IC title. I just kind of looked at it as kind of pointless. There was the U.S. title, whatever, be the champion of the U.S., and then there was the world title, and there was the tag team titles, and there was the women's title. There were all those. The IC title was just kind of meaningless to me. But The Miz makes it so prestigious. Like, The Miz makes it important. Like, you want this because The Miz has it, and The Miz considers it the most valuable thing. The way The Miz talks about the IC title, you would think he was talking about the World Heavyweight title. You would think he was talking about the big prize. And so I think that's what I love about his run as IC champion, is the fact that he has been able to turn a belt that I felt like was kind of meaningless and turn it into gold, turn it into like this, you want this. And so I hope they do make him Universal Champion based off of that merit, because he has been able to turn a belt into something important. And that's what I would love to see. I would love to see maybe the Miz win when they do Money in the Bank. If they do Money in the Bank Raw and SmackDown separate briefcases, I would love to see the Miz win the Raw Money in the Bank and have him cash in maybe at SummerSlam and win the title. He should win the Universal Championship at some point this year, and I'm gonna call it now that he does, and I really hope they do that. Especially if they decide to give the IC title to somebody like Seth Rollins or Jason Jordan or somebody like that. If they decide to have the Miz drop the IC title, please give him a better title. Please give him the world title. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for watching. If anybody watches this, yeah, Drunken Fools of Wrestling. That is us. And hopefully we'll come back at some point. But this is just me on my personal thoughts for now. This is Sean signing off. Bye.